Hi, Steve Cooper, Rank Success, and welcome to another episode of my Police Promotion and Leadership podcast, giving you CPD on the go wherever you may be listening. In this episode, my guest is Jo Shiner, who is the Chief Constable of Sussex Police, and I interview Jo and ask her questions on your behalf in relation to lots of topics, including promotion, becoming the first female Chief Constable of Sussex, her role as NPCC lead for roads policing. We talk about the importance of the role of sergeant, issues around investigating crime, values in policing, and also around what inspires her as Chief Constable, and a good overview of an approach to leadership from her perspective. And it's all relevant to your police leadership and promotion ambitions, because one of the reasons why I travel around and interview senior leaders and chief constables is to ensure that you get their perspectives, that you have a resource that's meaningful, so you can sit down with a cup of coffee and listen in for free and pick up any insights that you want to as an aspiring promotion candidate, and that you can learn from current serving leaders. And this interview itself, really interesting. And I'll probably go back to Sussex. So there's lots of good work going on there in terms of managing their demand. So I commend this interview to you. And if you've got something interesting to say, please get in touch. I'm happy to share my platform for diverse perspectives on policing and leadership. And this podcast is fantastic for your longer term leadership development. And if you're thinking about promotion, and if you've got a process coming up or deadlines pending, then my promotion masterclass video and premium toolkits take away the panic, level the playing field, and set you up for success in the shortest possible time. They're the best investment you can make in yourself to turbocharge your prep, and I'll share some brief info on these toolkits next, and then we'll get straight into the episode and the interview with Chief Constable Jo Shiner, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you enjoy this podcast episode. My free content and premium subscriber podcast here at Rank Success exists to help develop your leadership awareness over the long term with meaningful CPD on a tight budget. But most cops want structured support to help focus their preparation on all the right things, especially when there's the time pressure of an application form or process, upcoming or planned promotion interview boards, or other promotion assessments are scheduled. My tried and tested premium toolkits and masterclass are just the thing, providing all you need to hit the ground running and stand head and shoulders above other candidates. Go to ranksuccess.co.uk/sergeant for the complete PC to sergeant package. Otherwise, ranksuccess.co.uk/inspector provides 2 ranks in one, explaining how to get promoted to inspector and chief inspector. You'll get application form guidance, interview techniques, example questions along with how to answer them, including forward-facing questions, example evidence at each rank showing you exactly what good looks like, presentation and briefings guidance and leadership concepts made easy, the CVF made simple, and much more. Other officers describe it as a godsend, gold dust, and invaluable material to help them tame the monsters in your mind, which is one of the ways someone described it, and to succeed in your career aspirations. Those who have failed before realise where their gaps are and smash promotion the next opportunity. For return on investment, it'll arrive in your first month's salary increase alone. So why not take your career seriously and invest in yourself today? And these market-leading police promotion materials aren't just to see you into a new rank. With simplified police-related leadership development, it will help you become a better leader too, regardless of whether you're actively seeking promotion right now. See countless testimonials on my site, and feel free to call me on my mobile if you've got any questions. All the best in your career aspirations, and I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hi, Steve Cooper, Rank Success, and welcome to another Rank Success leadership podcast. And my guest today is Chief Constable Jo Shiner, who is the Chief Constable of Sussex Police. Good morning, Jo.
Good morning.
And I've got these questions here, Joe, and we're going to do them on the hoof. So you've had a successful and varied career to date, spanning various roles across operations, crime, firearms, and critical incident functions. Would you mind sharing some of the highlights for you as you've progressed through the ranks to become Chief Constable of Sussex?
Well, first of all, thanks very much indeed for this opportunity. I mean, as I approach my 32nd year of policing, in fact it's next week, I feel incredibly privileged to have had a career in policing. I think it's still an amazing opportunity for us to be able to make a difference to our communities. And I think when I look back through my career, some of the highlights are those where I truly have been able to help some of those victims, particularly vulnerable victims, way back in my service as a DS on the Child Protection Unit, for example, but also in other roles. And you go home and you know that you've made the difference. And I think as a leader, you can also do that for those people who I'm privileged enough to work with and call colleagues. So I think being able to make decisions that I know will make a difference to those people, particularly on the front line, because I think that is really challenging, particularly today in with the society that we have. The privilege to be able to make decisions that can make their life that little bit better is also a real highlight for me.
Thank you very much, Joe. And I noticed on your Sussex Police pen picture, it mentions you're the first female Chief Constable in its history. So what are your views on the support for women aspiring to leadership positions in policing? And in relation to that, were there barriers that you had to overcome? And if so, how did you do that?
It's a very different world to that I joined. When I joined, you were given a handbag. You had one of the half-size wooden truncheons that fitted in your handbag, and you're expected to have your handbag with you. In fact, I was even issued with a pair of culottes when I first joined Norfolk Constabulary almost 32 years ago. I think we've come a long way, but equally I still think that we have quite a way to go. So I was really proud to become the first female Chief Constable, but I also think that we still need to continue to challenge some of, I think, the probably barriers that are still in the way, and also to continue to support those who we can see have the potential, but maybe, and particularly women, don't have the confidence to be able to bring themselves to work and to be authentic at work and to believe that they can be as successes themselves at work.
Okay. I note that you are the National Police Chiefs Council lead for roads policing, and you do much charity work in this area. And many forces have ambitious targets to reduce road deaths and injuries by 50% by 2030, in line with the United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety. How is this going, and what are the key specific actions that forces need to take to achieve this ambitious target amidst a growing population?
So we don't recognise in this country the number of people that are killed and seriously injured on our roads in terms of just how many people that is. Well over 1,600 people a year are killed, many tens of thousands more are seriously injured. If that happened in any other area of policing, we'd be calling it a critical incident and we'd be doing all sorts of other things. But we don't, and we call them accidents, even though we should call them collisions. And so we don't, I think, recognise the gravity of the situation. It's really personal to me. My father was killed on the roads when I was a teenager, and so when this portfolio came along, it was a really, really easy sort of choice for me to take it on and to try to encourage and influence forces, partners, organisations, the public, society generally, to really take road safety seriously and to challenge those behaviours which do bring that death and misery to the roads.
Okay. So I want to make the most use of your time, and for my listeners, obviously a lot of my listeners are people who are aspiring to promotion, whatever level they are currently in policing. And from your perspective as a Chief Constable, how important do you believe it is, the role of Sergeant is, and what advice can you offer listeners currently at PC rank aspiring to promotion to the next level?
I think the rank of Sergeant is not just one of the most important, but I think it's actually probably the most enjoyable rank that I held in policing, because you have your own teams, you have the ability to be able to influence, but you're still close to the front line in most of the roles that you will do, so you can use the experience that you've brought as a PC very much into that rank. I think one of the challenges is making that step up sometimes, particularly as increasingly you might be the sergeant in a team where you were the PC in, which many years ago that wouldn't have happened arguably, you'd have been posted to a different team. So I think making that distinction between yourself as a PC on the team and then raising to yourself as a sergeant on the team is an important one for people to learn how to do in terms of their personal and professional skills.
And just in relation to training and equipping sergeants to do their job, do you think policing gets the balance of that right at the moment, both historically and now?
I think particularly as we've had obviously a huge influx of new officers into policing, and therefore the volume of the training, I think, has impacted actually some of the quality of it sometimes. When we've now got officers moving into being a sergeant, I do think that we probably need to look more at how much leadership training we give those people who we are asking to do an incredibly responsible and arguably one of the most important jobs. Increasingly, I think we're getting better at recognising what some of that training needs to look like. Do I think we've got it right across all of policing? I'm not sure yet.
Okay. And just in relation to, partly related to that really, investigating crime is a common performance area that's highlighted as requiring improvement in many forces assessed by HMIC FRS in their annual Peel inspection, and it's an area for improvement also for Sussex. What do you expect from leaders in your force when supervising and managing investigations? Seems to be a current thing, doesn't it? A current theme, investigation standards and getting it right consistently.
I think it is, but I think it's more than just investigation standards. I think it's the capacity and capability that is within forces to be able to actually investigate crime, of which the volume is increasing. So I think we mustn't forget that austerity has had an impact in some of these areas, and it would be wrong not to recognise that, particularly when you look at the pressure that some of our officers and police staff investigators are under. I particularly think, though, that in relation to the training, if you like, that we give supervisors as to how to make sure that we are focusing on, if you like, the right investigations, whether it's vulnerability or what other factors lead into it, we need to make sure that we're getting that training right. There is also something about an approach to leadership, the objective, intrusive, supportive. So it's really drummed into you when you become a firearms, public order commander. Intrusive, objective, supportive leadership is what should lead you to the right conclusions and the right outcomes.
Okay, thank you. And upon your appointment as Chief Constable, you set out 3 clear priorities: protect communities, catch criminals, and deliver an outstanding service. How do you ensure your senior leaders are able to translate those priorities into tangible actions to improve things day to day?
So the technical answer, if you like, the transactional answer to that is that we have an operational delivery plan, which the deputy leads on my behalf, and of course they know from that delivery plan what's expected in terms of the actual actions that we would want them to take. It's interesting where those priorities came from, though. They actually came from when I joined all of those years ago, and I was out on the beat with somebody, and they said, you know, if you stay in policing, because of course then many women didn't, they left. But if you stay in policing, there's probably 3 things that you need to know, and that you're here to look after the good people, to lock up the bad people, and to do the right thing. So when I had the privilege of becoming chief, I actually converted those 3 things into a bit more of a modern way of saying them in terms of protecting our communities, catching criminals, and delivering that outstanding service. Because to me, the priorities of policing have not changed since I joined. That's what we're here to do. We're here to look after our communities, we're here to make sure that we catch criminals, and we're here to make sure that we give an outstanding, but certainly the best possible service that we can to those people who we have any contact with.
And it's difficult to argue against that, and it's nice and simple and clear. I don't think anyone would actively argue against those 3 key points. And as often, you know, the best visions or strategies or plans are fairly simple, and that is straight hitting the nail on the head, or 3 nails on the head there.
I think so, and you know, I go out on patrol a lot still. I'm still operational, still do operational shifts regularly, and I'll often say, you know, protect, catch, deliver, and it's been very much shortened to protect, catch, deliver, and I'm really happy that as a chief, you know, if people go out the door and think, what have I got to do today? I've got to protect, catch, and deliver. I'm pretty sure we'll achieve our objectives.
It's quite good how cops do that, isn't it?
They
shorten things quite. The rule of threes, it's easy to remember as well, isn't it? On that also, forces are increasingly creating their own bespoke values or espousing them in what appears to be a localised tailoring of the competency and values framework, the CVF. When I visited your force for a Federation-led support event, officers clearly expressed to me just how much they value the interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence side of their leaders. So as Chief Constable, what are the values you're looking for in leaders when you promote them, etc.?
I really like, you'll see that I've got them on the wall, I really like actually the code of ethics, courage, respect and empathy, and public service. I don't think you can go far wrong from those. I don't think you can argue with those. For me, though, there's a really important one about authenticity. I think that probably in the past, less so now, leaders maybe haven't felt as able as they could have done to bring themselves to work, to be yourselves at work, and to recognise that perhaps the reason why people have selected you for various, you know, ranks or roles is because they're selecting you. And for me, therefore, it's really important, particularly in Sussex, that people feel that they're able to bring themselves to work and to be themselves. And I really welcome, as a leader, differing points of view. I think it's incredibly important that we have not just diversity in its widest sense, but that we have diversity of thought as well, because we're here to represent our communities. Our communities most certainly have diversity of thought, and we should absolutely encourage that.
Okay, thanks. And one of the behaviours that promotion candidates are currently assessed against is being able to inspire others. And I encourage candidates to think about what inspires them personally. And with this in mind, Joe, what inspires you? I
actually do believe that those people who are going out, particularly on the front line, but also others in organisational roles, they inspire me every day. When I read in the morning, I wake up 6 o'clock every morning and I get my email telling me what's happened in the force, and I look at some of the bravery, some of the courage, and some of the humane and empathetic ways in which we have dealt with really challenging situations that our communities have faced. That really does inspire me, because I think that particularly given the challenges that we have, and particularly given some of the adverse publicity around policing, I really do believe that as leaders, it's our job to bring the most positive aspects of that and to keep the public on board so that they have the respect that our officers and staff deserve.
Okay, and thank you. Thanks very much for that. And finally, so it's my final question to you, Joe. If you could travel back in time and speak to yourself as a young constable, what career advice would you offer her?
I think that advice would be to be a brave leader. And of course, leadership is at every levels, not just because you have any rank. And I think brave leadership and speaking out and speaking up when you see things that are not right or don't feel right or don't look right, that's the advice that I would do. Do I wish that I'd done it more in the past? Potentially. I probably did it enough. But I think brave leadership is the key to our future in terms of public trust and confidence, and that of our colleagues as well.
Okay, thank you ever so much for that, Joe. And Joe Shiner, Chief Constable of Sussex, thank you very much for setting some time aside for this interview. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
My free content and premium subscriber podcast here at Rank Success exists to help develop your leadership awareness over the long term with meaningful CPD on a tight budget. But most cops want structured support to help focus their preparation on all the right things, especially when there's the time pressure of an application form or process, upcoming or planned promotion interview boards, or other promotion assessments are scheduled. My tried and tested premium toolkits and masterclass are just the thing, providing all you need to hit the ground running and stand head and shoulders above other candidates. Go to ranksuccess.co.uk/sergeant for the complete PC to sergeant package. Otherwise, ranksuccess.co.uk/inspector provides 2 ranks in one, explaining how to get promoted to inspector and chief inspector. You'll get application form guidance, interview techniques, example questions along with how to answer them, including forward-facing questions, example evidence at each rank showing you exactly what good looks like, presentation and briefings guidance and leadership concepts made easy, the CVF made simple, and much more. Other officers describe it as a godsend, gold dust, and invaluable material to help them tame the monsters in your mind, which is one of the ways someone described it, and to succeed in your career aspirations. Those who have failed before realise where their gaps are and smash promotion the next opportunity. For return on investment, it'll arrive in your first month's salary increase alone. So why not take your career seriously and invest in yourself today? And these market-leading police promotion materials aren't just to see you into a new rank. With simplified police-related leadership development, it will help you become a better leader too, regardless of whether you're actively seeking promotion right now. See countless testimonials on my site and feel free to call me on my mobile if you've got any questions. All the best in your career aspirations, and I hope you enjoy the podcast.